LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up entertainment. Pete Davidson reveals wild childhood moment involving his grandfather in a gay porn video. Comedian and actor Pete Davidson shared an awkward childhood memory during a stand-up act that involved his grandfather and explicit gay content. In a clip obtained by TMZ and published this week, Davidson recalled accidentally clicking on a video from the infamous website Lemon Party when he was only 8 years old. The video featured explicit scenes involving older men set to the theme song from The Andy Griffith Show. Davidson said he continued watching out of curiosity until he heard his grandfather approaching. He tried to hide the video by turning off the monitor and sound, but his grandfather demanded to see what he was watching. After the video resumed, Davidson joked that his grandfather immediately punched the monitor, smashing the screen, saying, quote, "Peter, we are never going to speak of this," end quote. Well, I mean, he was probably embarrassed, and I don't think it necessarily means his grandfather was gay or in the closet. I think that, I wouldn't want, my father's very straight. I wouldn't want to look at his phone because you never know the things that come across,
and
it's
I hear you
silly.
Sometimes when you're growing up, but I'm part of, some of my ancestors had the most wicked or dark sense of humor. And I love that Peter, coming from, I believe, humble beginnings in Staten Island, right across the water in New Jersey, is able to have the time he had on SNL, and now he's branched off into other things. But I think it's important to show, the reality that through the generations, these things happen. And no, there was no dark thing. It was accidental. But that's how you grow up and get exposure to the real world.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, if it was gay porn, if it was straight porn, if it was any kind of porn, I know that I would be mortified if I was a grandfather, a father, or in charge of a child, for them to see something like that. It would be absolutely mortifying. So while it might seem a little over the top that his grandfather punched the screen and said, "We're never going to talk," it sounds pretty normal to me because he wanted to maintain a certain level of...
And it wasn't violence against Peter.
No,
his grandson.
Yeah.
So I think it's a nice commentary. I'm glad that, Pete
cute story.
Yeah, and Pete could find humor in it.
Yeah, and I think I find humor in it too because I can imagine this, it's one of those things that's embarrassing because you never know. Maybe his grandfather had that because he enjoyed it. And there would be nothing wrong with that. And maybe he had it because he thought it was funny and it was set to Andy Griffith's theme song. And, he grew up watching Andy Griffith. And oh my God, I can't believe, that there's, gay stuff happening to the theme. It's, this was a different era too. When he was 8 years old, I think he's probably around my age, maybe a little older, I'm 38. So, this was 30 years ago. Let's cut everybody some slack, and I don't think there's a scandal there.
Well, I have to say, thank you, Pete, for keeping us all smiling here at Queer News and Beyond. That is an LGBTQ 1 Minute news story. There's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.